President-elect Donald Trump is very serious about border security, and we've all seen how the relations have been going with the governor of the great state of Canada. All joking aside, Trudeau will not be the prime minister for very much longer. No, there is a replacement, and over the weekend, we got some of the ideas that are coming out of Pierre Poilievre. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We've all heard the spin, and we all know how simple this concept is. Donald Trump has come forward and said to Canada and Mexico, fix your borders or face penalties. And the penalty being, in this case, 25% tariffs on all Canadian goods. And it comes with that very simple caveat. Fix your border and it won't happen. It won't take place. Now, Trudeau has promised that he's going to make retaliatory tariffs and put them on the United States, which we all see as a terrible idea. But the situation is very simple. Fix the border. Now, we see articles like this coming out of Global News. We don't know what comes into Canada by rail. Border Union head says this is unbelievable. Canada's border service agency has no infrastructure in place to search trains for bad stuff or even bad people and other goods crossing illegally into the country by rail. The head of the border agents union says a security gap that adds to concerns about an overall lack of enforcement at the border. Yeah, and that's a big issue for the United States of America, and the reason why Donald Trump is threatening to put in place these tariffs. Now, over the weekend, Pierre Poilievre, who is going to be the next prime minister, it's a shoo-in. It's pretty obvious where this is going. It's just a matter of when do we get a new election. It will happen within the next year. We just don't know if it's going to go all the way to October or if we're possibly going to have an earlier election. Now, Pierre Poilievre was on Elias Makos podcast on the weekend to discuss a number of issues. And this is a clip that I wanted to share because it is very focused on this issue. Let's have a listen.
I want to talk a bit about what's happening with the threat of tariffs from Donald Trump. And Francois Legault was asked about this yesterday. And he said when he was in Paris at the Notre Dame Cathedral reopening and he met briefly with Donald Trump, that Donald Trump told him, take care of the border, no tariffs. Is it as simple as that?
It should be. The tariff. Look, Donald Trump's a deal maker. He always was. That's how he made his billions as a real estate developer. He makes big, aggressive threats and demands up front. He slowly pulls them back as he gets what he wants. I'm willing to give on things that are good for Canada. So securing our border, that's good for Canada. We should do that even if there were no Donald Trump. So I will secure the border. We will shut down the illegal border crossings. We will have a strong RCMP or CBSA presence right across the border to keep bad guys in, to stop. We're going to scan the shipping containers to stop the stolen cars from going out. And I'm going to be delivering a ruthless crackdown on the fentanyl kingpins, whom I consider to be murderers. They will be going to the slammer. I'll break up these super labs that have killed 47,000 people who've died of fentanyl. We should fight fentanyl, not to please Donald Trump, but so that no mother has to bury her head in her hands in the agony of losing a child. And then we should rebuild our military, not because Trump asked us to, but because we have a duty to defend ourselves and our Arctic against the risks of the world. And I think if we do those things and go to President Trump and say, listen, you're now stronger because we're now stronger. Let's trade even more, because the richer we become, the more secure you become. I think that's a deal he'd take in a heartbeat.
I want to just talk.
This is such a perfect point. It's great because this is something that benefits Canada. I've been saying this for weeks since we heard about the threat of tariffs. These tariffs won't happen if we just do what actually the voting demographic in Canada is hoping will be done. This is, we've seen it in the polls. The Conservatives are polling massive. The Liberals have never been so unpopular before in the history of their party, I believe, at this point. They are dwindling. So the will of the people is to secure the border, make sure that this bad stuff isn't going across the borders, take care of that stuff, reduce crime within our own country. And we're going to get into immigration in just a second here. But these are all very important issues for the Canadian people. And, well, obviously, we've seen over the past 9 years, Trudeau has brought us into this new hellscape that we've never experienced here in Canada before. But this is where it's been going. And again, this is it's not even a negotiation at this point. It shouldn't be. Fix the situation. It benefits us all. We should just be looking at this moving forward. Now, here we're going to get into immigration, which is another issue that Canadian voters are talking about. And, well, it's a huge one.
Talk about immigration a bit, because there are 4.9 million visas that are set to expire in the next calendar year. The current immigration minister says these people will just voluntarily leave. So, I mean, you're laughing there. So if you think that's actually not going to happen, what are you going to do about those 4.9 million visa holders that have expiring visas?
Well, just before we get into his answer, I do want to add to his question. The idea here is there is 4.9 million people that visas have expired, and we've seen a jump in people filing for fake refugee claims. This has been a huge thing happening in Canada, and something that obviously these people are looking to extend their stay. Not only that, but we're also we might be seeing a huge influx of people coming in from the United States that are illegally there as Donald Trump's border czar jumps in and starts taking care of the situation there. So it's expounded. It's a very big issue. Here's Pierre Poilievre's response.
So Trudeau's lost control of immigration. According to his own department, there are between 20,000 and 500,000 people in Canada illegally. 20,000 to 500,000. They don't know. And they say there could be more. Then we know that there are 30,000 people who've been ordered deported that have not left. We know that for sure. Trudeau has lost control of our immigration.
How do you get control?
I will take back control. First of all, we will track down the 30,000 people who've been ordered deported, and I will have them deported from this country. They've been ordered deported. These are people who are not eligible to be here. We will find them and we will deport them.
Do you have the resources for that?
We do. We just have to direct them to the front lines rather than the back office bureaucracies. Secondly, we will have a rapid approach to treating these new and mostly false refugee claims. For example, I think we should signal that there will be what I call a last in, first out. So people who submit claims now because they're frankly international students who want to stay, they're not real refugees, they're not bad people, but they're using the refugee system to try and stay. We have to treat their case immediately so they know that it's not worth it. We have to secure the border so there's no more people coming in illegally and then staying the 14 days necessary in order to be eligible for a refugee application that can take years. We have to stop them from coming in the first place. And then we have to set numbers for immigration that our economy, our housing market, and our healthcare system can absorb. So that means reducing the number.
That is a big thing to combat. We are looking at a situation where there are a lot of people lining up to help out these refugees. Here we have from Chris on X saying, shady immigration consultants in Canada are already advertising their services for applying for asylum to international students with expiring work permits.
Hi, this is Kamal from Immigration Services. Refugee applications. Some of the commonly asked questions. Number one, I am an international student in Canada, or I am on a postgraduate work permit. I am living in the country from past 5-6 years. Is it possible for me to file a refugee status inside Canada? Answer is yes, you can file refugee status inside Canada. The bigger question is, will my refugee application be approved? Yes, there is a possibility for your application to be approved if you are able to present a credible scenario stating that when you came to Canada at that time, there was no risk to your life. Circumstances changed. In the last 5 years, the way things have unfolded, there is a serious risk to your life if you leave Canada or if you enter your home country. We need to present proper, credible evidence as well. The second question I get asked, if I file refugee application, is it possible for me to get my permanent residency through any other pathway? Answer is yes and no. Yes to the family sponsorship program. If you get married to somebody who is a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, you will be able to file your PR application.
I think you get the point. We're looking at a situation where they're just trying to scramble for any other reason that they can stay in the country. But this is the reality. A lot of people have been ordered to leave, and they're going to have to leave. I'm sorry. You came as a temporary person. Temporary has an actual meaning to it. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Any comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you all in the next one. Keep on trucking.